name is Patricio Noboa Hidalgo. I lead a revenue acceleration team at the Google Cloud division. We are a team with global reach that sits in strategy and operations, but interfaces with sales, engineering, solutions management, and so many different organizations that I've really lost count of all of them. And our mission is very simple. It is to make our sellers more productive. To be able to do that, we've partnered very closely with Salesloft, and we have an amazing Google account team. I'm not sure if they're here, but Nick Harris, Adam Gorishak, I think Sarah Schultz, a lot of great people helping us out and making this a reality at Google.
Thanks, Patricio, for being such a great partner. Let's talk a little bit about your organization. It's unique and it's different. We don't see it with a lot of our customers out there. So talk to us about the genesis and why Google Cloud brought this together.
Definitely. And if I may, Sam, I'll provide a little bit of context for folks here in the audience, just so you all can appreciate the journey, right? So many years ago, Google Cloud was funded, and we grew rather quickly in the last couple of years. About 5 years ago, my team was introduced into Google Cloud, and it really began in the early stage, small business, SMB side of the world, looking at the long tail of accounts, and how do we reach out to the ones that will make an impact to our bottom line, right? As we think about growing with them, as we think about, eventually moving up to upper markets, a lot of what we've been doing is trying to figure out what is that programmatic engine that's going to help us identify the right folks to reach out to, accounts to reach out to, but then engage them throughout their life cycle effectively to keep growing them. And that's where I think a lot of, almost the maturity of Google Cloud, which is very different than the rest of Alphabet, has really sort of battle tested a lot of our programs, right? We've had to sort of innovate as we go through. We've had to develop some of our own infrastructure and tooling. We had to find the right partners to partner with and grow. And I think that's where, today, 5 years later, we're very successfully driving double-digit productivity growth for our sellers across both SMB and now the upper markets, what we call the field segments.
That's fantastic work. So when you first started out at Salesloft or with Salesloft, you had a code name for the project called Steeplechase. Now it's evolved into a formal program, the Demand Gen platform. Talk to us about what are some of the key objectives that you're trying to achieve with this?
Definitely. So codename Steeplechase was really started about last year. It was a little bit of a pet project, right? That's why it didn't have very much of a formal name. But the idea was to bring that engine from SMB over to the higher end of our customer base. And what we really thought, was going to be impactful as we get up to the upper market, right? Is first of all really focusing on the seller experience, right? I think as we engage our sellers, having them enjoy the tool, seeing value in it, engage with it proactively, really helps folks, jump onto our platform and drive the execution of their workflows as is needed. So we prioritize that first of all, and to be able to do that, we literally went to every Google Cloud office in North America. We met with all of the sellers that would meet with us, and we really established, I think, a really tight relationship with them, hearing their input and feedback on what works and really what doesn't, right? Based on that, we started evolving the platform. And over the last year, we've been partnering again with folks in engineering to build internal tooling to make this happen, folks at Salesloft that helps us leverage the best practices so that our sellers know how to sell better. And now we're really coming up to a cusp, right, where we're able to mature, I think, our execution. So I mentioned, first of all, we had to delight sellers, and we did a really great job of that. Second of all, right, we had to sort of figure out what is in it for them, right? A lot of sellers will know this, right? You have to figure that out first before engaging your accounts. And similarly, internally, we figure out, hey, what is in it for sellers? I think the productivity and the streamlining really worked. But then also for our sales leaders, how do we sort of arm them with the right insights to help coach their folks? And that's where we really started seeing traction and momentum in the adoption of what we've done. Lastly, I think a lot of what we've started to do now with the new rebranding to the Demand Gen platform, right, is aligning at very senior levels at Cloud, what is our work with the operating model of how we want to run demand generation, right? As some of you may know, Google Cloud has been in very fast growth clips. And as we continue to mature as an organization, what we want to do is really fuel that growth with the right demand generation engine. So I'm pleased to say that now that we've gained this alignment, we're heading into 2024 in a very strong position, and our push is really to go global in that regard.
Yeah, I'm hearing a similar trend to what you said and what Frank and Ellie said. It's all about listening to the customers, sitting down with them, understanding what's working, what's not working, and help them on their change journey, as we call it. And what's in it for me? Why are we even doing this? So as we think about that, how is your journey with Salesloft evolved over the last year, year and a half?
Definitely. So overall, I think it's been honestly just a tremendous change management effort, right? I think sellers, I think we had a presentation earlier, right, are just bombarded with different tools, different notifications, different ways to go about their workflow. What we've been trying to really do is manage the change of a net new tool and providing really the value for them to sell, right? And I think how that's evolved over time, right, is, I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, we've really engaged our sales leaders in being able to think about this as, one of our VPs in North America mentioned this, as the sort of the Fitbit for their business. Figuring out how do we track and know how we're doing so that we can always figure out how to course correct if needed or how to steer more in the right direction as our goals set.
Yeah, I love the Fitbit for the business remark. I think we're going to have to add that to our talk track next time. You mentioned about partnership with Salesloft. So how has that helped you? What was that like?
Definitely. So I think early on this year, as we were engaging sellers, we of course had the broad communications enablement that happens at the beginning of the year, and that was all great. But as you all know, we enable a lot of people, and about 10% of them actually pay attention. So it's a tricky proposition to try to get people on board. And what really worked was us going again to all these different cloud offices and getting in front of sellers. And that's really where again Nick, Adam, several folks from the Salesloft team came with us on site and lended their expertise in the platform. I'd like to say I'm a bit of an expert on Salesloft, but is nowhere near their level. And they were able to literally sit down right by our sellers at Cloud and answer their detailed, deep, and sometimes even rhetorical questions on like, how is this going to help me, right? And that's what really helped, I think, with the change management, addressing the concerns of our sellers and hearing them out, and sort of having that face to the name when it comes to our partners.
Yeah, I think, from my perspective, the takeaway is change management is so key, and how do you drive that within your organization? So last words of wisdom for prospects, customers that are just starting their journey, customers that may be further along. What words of wisdom do you want to leave with them?
Definitely, to sort of re-up on the point of change management. It's quite hard, right? It takes a lot of effort, tenacity to make it happen, but it can be done. One of the best ways that we saw really drove sort of the momentum is finding within your users that champion, right? That person that's going to use this and showcase that they are literally one of the most highest performance reps in an entire region, maxing out their compensation plans, getting in opportunities at a faster rate than anyone else, and having them have sort of a stage to share their experiences, their knowledge, their journey with others. That has been critical in helping us get the right momentum, and I highly recommend it to anybody trying to go on a similar journey.
Well, thank you, Patricio, for being such a great partner of ours. I really appreciate it.